understand how friend groups work at this point. I don't, because I'm always that outside person. As like I could never find that group that I just naturally mesh with. I'm coming to the realization that I'm not gonna have like a friend group. I think I think I have come to that realization. People don't think of me. Like they just don't think of me a lot. I'm usually the last person to get invited somewhere. I'm usually the last person that finds out information. And I've had people be like, "Oh, why didn't you just say you wanted to come?" Because you didn't invite me. If you wanted me there and you wanted me to come, you would have said something. If I'm always having to go to you and I have to initiate every conversation, initiate all the plans, if it's always me trying to get that out of you, I'm gonna start to feel like a burden to you. Like it's always we have to invite Bree so she doesn't feel left out. Not we want to invite Bree because we genuinely want her here and because, like we want to have fun with her and we want her to be here. And what I've peeped is that a lot of the times when I am out hanging with people, no one pulls out their phones, no one takes pictures, no one takes any videos. Dang, where's all this energy and oh look at us? Like where's all that energy when you're hanging out with me? You do that with everybody else. You got all these photos and videos of you hanging out with everybody else. Then when we hang out, nothing. Hey everyone, it's Bear. Welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another video and we're back into a TikTok. I've been seeing a whole lot of relatable TikToks lately, and so I figured why not start reacting to TikToks that I come across. And so I came across this TikTok, and basically she's talking about being the background friend. Now this is the story of my entire life, and honestly, because I'm gonna be upfront, I was not into the whole TikTok craze when it first happened during the pandemic. I was somebody that said, you know what, I don't want to get addicted to another social media app. And so I stayed away from it. But a lot of people kind of talked me into getting it for business purposes. And, just kind of making sure that I check myself to not get like addicted to it and very consumed with it. And honestly, I've been doing a pretty good job. Like I don't find myself scrolling on TikTok for hours like a lot of other people do. But when I do go on TikTok, the algorithm is so good for me, at least, because they literally give me content about things that I'm either currently going through or just, certain topics that, I'm into at the moment. And honestly, TikTok has been making me feel so seen because I've just been seeing people talk about things that that I've gone through in my life or that I'm currently going through. And it's things that like people in my like immediate circles, I feel like a lot of times like people don't really understand the things that I'm going through, or they may not have gone through the same things or whatever the case may be. But I'll come across other people that are going through these things and they share the same feelings about it that I do, and I'm like, finally I feel seen. And so I came across this TikTok about being the background friend. And honestly, this is something that I have dealt with my entire life, is being the background friend. And we're going to get into this video and see what she has to say about that.
You know what really fucks with my self-esteem? Being the last choice friend. With most people that I know, if I want to hang out with them, I can't rely on them to invite me anywhere. Even if they're doing something, actively having people over, I will not be invited unless I invite myself or I initiate the plans.
This is very true for me. Again, like in the past, that's why like I think I'm coming to the realization that I'm not gonna have like a friend group. I think I have come to that realization. Because in the past, whenever I've had friend groups, from middle school, high school, and even like college, I was that friend. Like I was the background friend. I was the friend that people didn't consider, didn't think about, didn't invite places. And like she said, the only way that she would ever go anywhere is if she would initiate the plans or if she would invite herself there. And nobody wants to do that. And I've had people in the past say like for instance, like let's say like I'd seen that my friends were planning something, right? and they're all talking about it, and they're all, getting excited for it, but it was never, brought up to me, and I was never invited. I'm the type of person where it's like, I'm not finna say nothing if I wasn't invited, because if you didn't invite me, I'm gonna assume that you didn't want me there. And I've had people be like, oh, why didn't you just say you wanted to come? Because you didn't invite me. If you wanted me there and you wanted me to come, you would have said something. And that's the thing. It's like, and that's the thing I've realized too recently, is that people don't think to invite me places. People don't think to invite me places. I'm not the first person that people think of when, you know, they're making plans or they're planning a trip. Like, I'm just usually not that person. And I even remember, like, one time, I kid you not, I was in high school and I had a class with all of my close friends at that time, and they were all like sitting around like planning to go to the movies, and they're trying to figure out like what movie they wanted to see, but they were speaking about it as if it was something that was already in the works, and I wasn't invited. But here I am, being naive, and I'm like, oh, because I think they wanted to go see like a scary movie, and I was like, oh, like, I don't really do scary movies, and they just kind of looked at me like, we didn't ask you. Because I'm over here thinking like, okay, if they're planning on going to the movies, then I guess we're all going, because we were in a group, like this was like our friend group, we were all sitting together, so I'm automatically thinking that I'm gonna be invited. And it's like every time I kept trying to like ask questions or be like, oh, maybe we can do like 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock, they're literally just like not even like responding. It's like they're almost trying to like ignore me, because they're like, we literally didn't invite you. But instead of just telling me that, they just were acting funny. And then of course I found out via social media that they had all went to the movies without me. And so yeah, I definitely feel her on that, like in terms of having to almost invite yourself places, which again you never want to do, because then the person feels like, okay, well, she asked, so now I have to invite her. So I don't even put people in that position. It's like, if you don't invite me off rip, I'm just gonna assume that you don't want me there. And even with me trying to make plans in the past, even with that, it's like people don't, people will find excuses not to do that, and not to do the things that I want to do. And I'm always having to, again, either try to tag along when plans are already made that didn't include me in the first place, or I just, like I'll try to make plans, and I'm over here trying to like convince people to do stuff with me when they really don't want to do that stuff with me.
And it makes me really sad, because these are the people that I would invite if I was doing something.
Right.
But I know that when they were planning it, I didn't even cross their mind.
And that's one thing too that like I'm having to realize, not just with plans, but just in general, when it comes to like everything, the people that are like on the forefront of my mind for certain things, whether it's like just anything, like making plans or spilling some tea and talking about something that didn't happen, or venting, or just anything really, like the people that I like rush to like include and stuff, I'm not even like a second thought when, or like the other way around. Like for instance, if something like, oh, like recently, like my power went out, right? There were certain people that I kind of like ran and told that to, but if that happened to them, they wouldn't come and tell me. And it's like, it's not even that, because it's not that it's like a big thing or whatever, but you do have those friends that you're so close with, that you just want to talk to them. You just want to talk to them, tell them things that happen in your life, and or like you want to go to the mall one day, and so like you have those people that you just think of when it comes to doing stuff like that. And I honestly feel like people don't think of me, like they just don't think of me a lot. I'm usually the last person. I'm usually the last person to get invited somewhere. I'm usually the last person that finds out information. That's like the number one thing too, like within my friend groups. I am always the last person to hear about something. And I usually only hear about it because everybody in the group is talking about it. I'm sitting here like, huh? What's everyone talking about? Like, I am always out the loop. And that gets on my nerves to no end. Because again, when things happen in my life, or I have any major life updates, I'm always telling them what's going on. But then if they got stuff going on, I don't hear about it, or I have to hear about it from somebody else. And it's like, Why am I hearing about your personal business from someone else when we're supposed to be close? And I talked about this too in another video about how I had a friend from high school that, you know, she would always keep stuff from me. Even though we were supposed to have this close friendship and we tell each other everything, she would never tell me what was going on with her, but I would always tell her everything that was going on with me. So I had just stopped doing that when it came to her specifically. But yeah, it sucks. It sucks being left out of anything and everything, like, because it doesn't make you feel valued as a friend.
And that fucking sucks. And a lot of people, I think, are gonna say, well, those aren't your real friends, blah, blah, blah. And I obviously know that. I obviously know that those aren't my real friends, but it still fucking sucks.
It still sucks.
And it hurts.
And that's what I be trying to tell people. Like, people are so quick to be like, oh, but that's not your real friends then. Okay, but can I still be upset? Like, am I allowed to still, you know, be like, damn, like, this is... Because sometimes, I kid you not, like, especially when I'm venting to someone about someone else, it's like, I don't know, I feel like people don't really let me feel how I want to feel. It's like people be so quick to be like, you know, like, I don't know, like, because I get that a lot too, like when people say like, oh, but that's not your real friend. And it's like, okay, I get that. But also too, it's like, I be having these issues with everybody that I meet. And it's frustrating. And sometimes I just want to hear that. Sometimes when I tell people stuff, I just want to hear like, oh man, that really sucks. Or, oh, that's crappy. Or, you know, oh, you didn't deserve that. Sometimes I just want to hear that. But people don't even be wanting to give me that. It's just like, oh, well, you know, you shouldn't care. Because, you know, clearly they're not your friends. But now I'm over here having an epiphany like, well, damn, I guess I don't have any friends then. Because everybody does this to me.
That people that you thought were your friends don't care to be in your presence. In my head, it really reinforces my thoughts that I am worthless and that no one actually likes me, and the reason that they hang out with me is out of pity.
And I feel that as well. Because I've been feeling that. I've definitely been feeling that. Just reflecting on the past year, reflecting on my whole life. Because again, I just been kind of cooped up in the house all summer, so I've had nothing but time to think about everything. Yeah, like I just don't really feel valued as a friend to people, and I don't understand why. It's like I do so much and I go above and beyond all the time for people, but then it's like I people still just look at me as like an option, and it's a hard thing. And even her saying that, you know, people hang out with her out of pity, I feel the same way. If you don't go out of your way, at least from time to time, to at least show interest in, again, talking to me, hanging out with me, like something, I do tend to feel like I'm a burden on people. Because it's just like, if I'm always having to go to you and I have to initiate every conversation, initiate all the plans, having to invite myself places, like, if it's always me trying to get that out of you, I'm gonna start to feel like a burden to you, and I'm gonna start to feel like, you know, because I'm not gonna lie, I have had those moments in the past a lot where it's like, oh, we kind of have to invite Bree, you know, because we kind of have to, and so like, it's always, we have to invite Bree so she doesn't feel left out. Not, we want to invite Bree because we genuinely want her here, and because, you know, like, we want to have fun with her and we want her to be here. No, it's always, oh, we gotta invite her because, you know, if we don't, she's gonna get upset, or, you know, she's gonna feel some type of way, or, you know, it always feels like it's a chore for people to include me and stuff, and that's a really crappy feeling.
And when you don't get invited to anything and you only hang out with someone because you've asked to hang out, it really does seem like it's just out of pity. I'm never the friend that people hang out with and post pictures of. That never happens.
That too, like, that's one thing that I've noticed. There are people that, you know, like how, like, with, in the, okay, in the age of social media, right, people like to document everything. And so if I see that every single time you go out, you have your phone out and you're taking pictures, you're taking photos, like you're taking pictures, you're taking videos, and you're, documenting like the moments of you having fun, I'm gonna expect that you're gonna do that with me as well. And what I've peeped is that a lot of the times when I am out hanging with people, no one pulls out their phones, no one takes pictures, no one takes any videos. And so it's like, even the very few times I have hung out with people, I don't even have any memories of it. Now, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I don't think to pull out my phone and record and film. Mostly because when I try to do that in the past, people be like, "Oh, no, I don't look right." And so I don't like try to force that onto people. But that's one thing I've noticed too, is that I'll have friends that'll constantly take pictures and videos and Instagram stories when they're hanging out with everybody else, but then when they're hanging out with me, no, like nothing on social media, not even a, oh, like, how sometimes, like, if you're at a restaurant, you'll say like, oh, I'm at this restaurant. Not even that. I'm usually the only one that's posting that I'm with those people. But then if you go on their stories, you wouldn't even know, you wouldn't know that we're hanging out unless I'm the one that's posting it. And it's like, dang, where's all this energy? And oh, look at us. Like, where's all that energy when you're hanging out with me? You do that with everybody else. You got all these photos and videos of you hanging out with everybody else. Then when we hang out, nothing. So that's another thing that I relate to her on as well.
The people that notoriously post pictures of everything they're doing with their friends on their stories don't do that when they're with me.
Yeah.
It's been this way all my life.
Same here.
I've never been really part of a friend group. I always feel like I'm on the outskirts of it, where the main people will hang out, and I don't even think that they would really notice or care if I wasn't there.
Yeah, that's been my reality. Like, I've had horrible history with friend groups in the past, and it's always been that I'm always on the outskirts. People don't even blink an eye when I'm not around. And it's, even hearing that again, it's like it's bringing back memories. It's bringing back memories to when, and that's another thing too. Just with friend groups in general, I'll never understand. I don't understand how friend groups work at this point. I don't, because I'm always that outside person. As like, I could never find that group that I just naturally mesh with. And I remember again, like, just one example, when I was in middle school and I had this friend group, and it got to the point where they were actively trying to leave me out. Like, there were times where, we would all like sit together, and they started kind of like doing this thing where they would all kind of sit together in a circle, but like wouldn't let me in the circle. And so I'm kind of just hanging back, like trying to see what's going on. Like, I've always gotten that type of energy from friend groups, and it's so much worse in college now, because a lot of people, they'll try to establish a friend group before they even get to college. And so you get to college, you're like, okay, I'm ready to meet and greet, I'm ready to meet my new friends, but everybody's already got their cliques. And so it's like, you're over here trying to, make friends or whatever, but you keep getting pushed down to the bottom because people already have their cliques and their groups. And it seems like impossible to make friends if you don't come into college with a friend group already established.
It just really hurts when you're always thinking about other people's feelings and how you can make sure that everyone's needs are being met, but nobody does that for you.
Yeah, I mean, again, like, because even with that, it's like, if I try to make well, okay, I won't get into that, but yeah, like, when I try to make plans and whatever, like, I always try to accommodate for everybody, or at the very least, I try to make sure that whatever we're doing, everybody actively wants to do. Or if we're going out to eat, I want to make sure that it's a place where everybody wants to eat. But I feel like people give me a lot of crap because I'm a picky eater, and so, people will, I don't know. I feel like people don't want to really accommodate for me, or they'll make me feel bad for wanting to accommodate for me. And so it gets to the point where I just either don't get invited, or people will be like, okay, we're going to go to this restaurant. Mind you, the restaurant has literally zero that I eat on the menu. And it's like, either you can stop being picky and come eat with us, or you just won't come. And it's like I just I don't know. I guess because for me, I would never do that. I would never do that to somebody. Like, I would not pick a restaurant where no one is gonna eat any of the food and just expect them to come, or expect them. There's another thing too. People also expect me to go to a restaurant where I know I'm not gonna eat none of the food, and it's like, you want me to try new food on my money. I don't have enough money to keep wasting on food that I know I'm not gonna eat. And so it's like, at least look out for me a little bit, to where, just to see if there's like at least one thing on the menu that I eat. I cannot stay because, okay, like, I'll say for me, right, like, I don't eat Chinese food, right? I don't eat Chinese food. If we're having a group thing and we're trying to find a place for all of us to eat, why would you pick a Chinese restaurant and then get mad at me because I don't want to go? I'm not gonna eat the food. Like, or even actually, you know what, I'm not gonna get into all that, because then y'all gonna start roasting me about what I eat and what I don't eat. But anyway, I totally feel her on this. Again, this makes me feel seen, because I just feel like I'm always that odd one out. And a lot of people just, they can't relate to this, because everybody that I know, they have friend groups, they have circles, they have, like, they don't have those issues. Not to say that no one, or not to say that there are people who have never felt left out. Like, everybody has probably felt left out, to a certain degree, but not to like a constant thing where it's like your entire life you just been made to feel ostracized and you just don't feel included or a part of any group, or you feel like people deal with you just to be nice and not be rude, but not because they actually want you there. It sucks. It's a sucky feeling. And so, I don't feel good about her feeling that way, but it makes me feel seen that someone else has experienced the same things that I've experienced. But anyway, let me know if you guys can relate to anything that she said, anything that I said. If you have experienced being the background friend, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And also, if you have any advice, I don't know what advice you could give. If you have any advice for this, let me know in the comments down below. And if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys give it a big thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video.